Jan Copeland, how are you? Let's see what time it is. 9:59. I am a minute early, so I'll let you guys have time to join, and then we'll get right into it. How you doing today? I hope you're doing fabulous. It's Friday. I love doing these live videos on Friday. If you're with me, say hello. Give me a wave, something in the comments if you would, please. We'll get started. Hi, Wilma. How are you? It's not quite 10 o'clock yet, so we'll just give it a few more minutes, a minute or two, and then we'll get started. Hi, Janie. How are you? I miss you. I miss Winchester. Hi, Micah. You're busy as always, Janie. I love your posts. So today, ladies, we're going to continue. This is our 4th week together training on how to become a listing queen. So let me see what time it is. All right, it's 10 o'clock. Thank you for being on time. Hi, Kate. Hi, Amanda. All right, so I am Jan Copeland, the sales strategist and real estate coach at the Livy Brin Success Boutique, and my twin sister and I started the Girls Guide to Outrageous Real Estate Success about a year and 3 weeks ago. And I'm just amazed at what's happening with the transformations that we're seeing with our clients in their business. Unbelievable, unbelievable, unbelievable. So I have a few announcements to make, and then we'll jump right into it. Hey, Lindsay. Number one, next week, there are 2 opportunities to catch amazing women live here in the Girls Guide, okay? Next Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for about 45 minutes, we are continuing with our outrageously successful agent profile. This is going to be our 10th month profiling an amazingly successful realtor. These are realtors who make upwards of 500,000 plus, okay? So they make at least 500,000 plus. So these are women that are movers and shakers. And so you definitely want to be a part of the series and watch it again and again. Her name is Ann Lusk, and she owns Sotheby's International Realty in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Now, if you're like me, I'm from Pennsylvania, and I would never imagine that a market such as Lancaster, Pennsylvania would bring in so much business. And guess what? Right now, she and her team have 119 listings. Unbelievable, unbelievable. So you definitely want to tune in next Thursday, the 25th at 2 p.m. And you actually need to register for that. Even though it's a free webinar, we need you to register for that. So what you want to do is you want to go to livybrin.com, and that's LIVYBRYNN.com/events. Or just go to livybrin.com, click on the events icon, and then scroll down until you see where it says Ann Lusk. And then you click Let Me In, and boom, you'll be let in, and then you'll receive the link to watch. You definitely don't want to miss that. And then next Friday, in addition to me being here at 10 a.m. for our live that I always do, next Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, we have Jane Bernstein, who is the founder of a company called The Organizing Professionals. And she is in the Philadelphia area, and she was recently named the best of her profession. I don't know the exact title, but she's been seen on CBS News. She's been seen on HGTV, in the New York Times, and she's amazing. And her topic that she's going to share with us is getting organized in times of transition. And you know, aren't we always in a time of transition? It seems either we're moving or we're doing something dynamically different with our business. And so as entrepreneurs, a lot of times we are in a time of transition. And so we are excited to have Jane Bernstein with us next Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern, as a free webinar for you to watch and learn as we interview her. But again, you need to go to livybrin.com And then once there, click on events and scroll down until you see her name, Jane Bernstein, and then click let me in. And then you'll get the link for the webinar, okay? So 2 amazing opportunities for you next week. All right. You know, we've been together. This is our 4th week together. And so I'm doing these little mini series for becoming a listing queen so that you can kind of get to know me and I can get to know you, because it's so amazing how many people will message me after in a private message or text me or call me, because I give my cell phone number, and I'll do that in a few minutes, to really hear how this is helping you. So it is my passion and my sister's passion to help you. So I'm glad that this is doing just that. We've already covered mindset in our first week. Then we covered knowing your market, the importance of knowing your market. I can't tell you how important that is. When someone calls from out of town and they say, hey, where do I go for this? Where's the best place for that? Or even if you're showing, have you ever shown a buyer properties and you get lost? Oh my gosh, how embarrassing is that? This is supposed to be your market and you're getting lost, okay? So no, unacceptable when you want to be a listing queen. So you got to know your market. And then we talked about the winning touch plan last week. And this week we're going to talk about getting your tribe together and the importance of that. And so what do I mean by that? First of all, my name is Jan Copeland, sales strategist, head real estate coach over in Livy Brin Success Boutique. And my cell number, because I'm always available to amazing women agents who are on a path to outrageous success, okay? My number is 540-931-5050. Haven't I said that a million times? Because I didn't change my number even though I moved. So anyway, what we're going to talk about today is, as a listing queen and as someone who wants to amass a lot of listings, okay, you need to have a support system that's going to support your vision of service to your clients, all right? So I'm sure you're like me, you want exemplary service. You want to give your clients exceptional service, right? And so in order to do that, homeowners are very busy. You know how busy you are. Well, guess what? Every homeowner is equally busy or more so, right? Many of them are traveling. At least as agents, we don't have to travel so much because our work is primarily where we live, obviously, except for conferences. So they really depend on us to roll our sleeves up, to know who the best of the best in pretty much every aspect, such as painters, who's the best plumber, who's the best electrician, who are the best lenders. And of course, you might be thinking, no, we're talking about listings. Why do we need to be in contact with lenders? But in actuality, it's very good to have your lenders with you when you do listing, not with you, but like as a part of your team and your tribe, because when a property isn't moving, or if a property is a certain price point that you want to know, what would a monthly mortgage payment be on this kind of house? And you want to include that on your flyer. So that's why you need the lender, the amazing lender partners who will think creatively to get a house sold for you, okay, or with you as a team. That's the point. So I'm calling it my tribe that you want to get together. And so I'm going to give you a couple different stories of how my tribe helped me be successful as an agent and as a team leader. Number one, in the state of Virginia, where I did real estate with my team before coming over to be a full-time coach, we use attorneys or closing companies or title companies. And when I began in the industry as a realtor, there was a woman, Jennifer Sacco, who started her title business. And so we kind of linked arm in arm because we were kind of the same in terms of tenure as entrepreneurs in our business, in our respective businesses. And over the years, I cannot tell you how many deals Jennifer saved because of her commitment to me and my clients, because of her amazing creativity, and really, she was on my team, meaning she had my back. And one example was we had I mean, she helped me in so many ways, but we had a very difficult seller who didn't want to show up for closing, and at the last, the 11th hour, we suddenly had some kind of lien on the home and all kinds of craziness, and they were going through a divorce, and so the poor wife, who was kind of my primary contact, was so beside herself. It was insane. And because she chose me as the realtor, and the court ordered her to do so, that she had that autonomy to choose, he didn't really want to talk to me. And so, to make a long story short, I said to the wife, my seller, the wife, I said, come with me to the office of the title company the morning of closing, when he said he would not close and he would not pay off that lien. And we're going to go over to the closing company. And when we got there, we explained what was going on to Jennifer. She said, give me a few minutes. She went in her office, and I just love this about her. And ladies, this is why you need your tribe, okay? She called an attorney who called someone else that's in charge of God knows what. I mean, it was way over my head, ladies. It's way over my head. I can't even explain it. But 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, she came out. She goes, let's call him. We need to call, your soon-to-be ex-husband. I said, I'm not talking. He hates me. And I said to the wife, don't you talk. Let's let Jennifer talk. Bottom line, Jennifer convinced him that he needed to show up, and that he would show up after she and I had gone, and we closed. There has to be a connection and a commitment from a closing company. And I don't know the law in all 50 states. And of course, we're international on Girls Guide, so I can't even speak anywhere outside of the United States either. But I do know this. However your clients close, you need to be like this with them. You need to treat them like gold. You need to really respect them and be, be loyal to them. I mean, when I was working with a client and they want to go somewhere else, I would plant a seed of doubt and say, you know what? I've been doing this a long time, well over a decade. I've seen horror stories with others. I recommend that you stay with my recommended Old Town title. And 9 times out of 10, they would. And you know what that does for you, ladies? Whew, you know it's going to close, okay? So you really need to take ownership of building your tribe of people who are going to lift you up, make sure that they support your clients to the highest level of customer service that you expect of yourself. So that was just one example. In my market, many times when I went in, I was shocked and horrified by the color on the walls or paint. A lot of people in my market, I had my senior designation, SRES, and so I had a lot of senior clients, and they had 1960s wallpaper. I'm not kidding. And so many times I needed a painter, and I needed a painter yesterday. So I put out on Facebook many, many years ago, hey, I need great painters. And I have to tell you, ladies, my painter, and if you're in Winchester, Byron, Elvira is the world to me. I love that guy. Because what happens? You go on a listing appointment and you win the listing, all right? I won 97% of my listing appointments. And you convince them that needs to come down. The wallpaper needs to come down, or something needs to be painted. And guess what? Next thing they say is, who's doing that? And we don't have time for that. I need to get listed. I have to be in North Carolina at my new job by XYZ date. So time is of the essence a lot of the time in real estate. Don't you agree? So I had a relationship with my painter where I would be able to text him, and within 5 or 6 hours, he would drop what he was doing and come and give the estimate, and then he would fit me in. He would fit my clients in. And you might think, well, that's mean because he was working with other clients. Well, that's true, but I was worried about my clients, and I was worried about, me looking really good to my clients, all right? And so that alone would get me deals and get them in love with me right from the start, because I was able to, on a dime, get people there. I had likewise had a contractor, electrician, a plumber, a lawn service. Oh my gosh, how many times do you go there and you're thinking, oh my gosh, curb appeal's bad. We definitely need something done with this landscaping, or even just a lawn cut or something. So ladies, I want to chat with you more about how to grow your tribe, So I am big face to face. I am big shoulder to shoulder. You need to be in front of people, okay? Jay, you remember that. Okay. So I'm big on being in front of people, and I'm big on thinking about how they're thinking, how the person that I want to get with, how are they thinking? And so I would reach out to all the contractors and, and painters, all those kind of people, and say, may I either get you beer, or may I, meet you for coffee at like 6 a.m. Okay, because they're supposed to, if they're good, they're going to be up early like you, and they're going to be ready to start their day. And I just remember the landscaper, he's like, well, if you can bring a 6-pack of beer, I can talk to you. I'm like, fine with me. Guess what? He was the best. He would always come through. And by the way, many times my tribe of I called them my tribe, but my people that I referred, they would respond so quickly to me, and I likewise would respond quickly to them. And sometimes when they would shoot me over an estimate, I'm thinking in particular about the landscaper, I would say, hey, this time can you do it for this? And sometimes they'd say no, and sometimes they'd say yes. And I would only ask that if my seller had already said, hey, I have a budget of this, so if you can get all this done in that budget, cool. And so, yes, I would get to that level of detail because I wanted to manage the timeline, because I wanted the listing ASAP so I can keep my listings flowing, right? I wanted it fast. And if they're already busy, it might take them 2 or 3 days to even get in touch with them, and then another 2 or 3 days to get the estimate. And then, it's just, I liked managing the process, and I enjoyed it. So it becomes a really close relationship, such that, how everyone talks about a VIP party for in real estate, and I would do 2 a year. I believe in it wholeheartedly. Well, guess what? I would have my tribe there, and I invited them. They all didn't come, but I would invite them. And during the VIP event, when most of the people were there, I would put them on a pedestal, and I would say, I have to introduce you to the most amazing painter here, Byron Elvira. I have to introduce you to the best electrician here, whatever, the best plumber, the best contractor. And quite frankly, many times the people of my tribe helped offset my expenses for the VIP event. And so the VIP event would either be free or very inexpensive, because they were happy to either give door prizes or to, be the coffee sponsor or the champagne sponsor or the food sponsor at the VIP events. So you can see that there's a weaving, and there is a genuine caring of going back and forth between you and your tribe. In front of clients, you can call them your team. Because think about it. They are your team. You're their team. They count on you for income. You count on them to do their job with excellence so that likewise you can make some income. So it's just a really nice marriage. And some people might say, well, I don't have enough listings to even worry about getting a tribe together. And ladies, that is the wrong way to think about things. The right way to think about things is setting everything up for outrageous success and then go. Because ladies, next Friday, I'm going to share with you lead gen ideas, okay? And there's no magic pill, so if you're like, oh my gosh, she's going to tell us a magic pill. No, but guess what? I'm going to share with you what worked for me to get leads and what has worked for my clients to get leads. And so the beauty of the Girls Guide to Outrageous Success Facebook group is sharing ideas, right? We're always sharing ideas and supporting each other, which is amazing, right? So I just want to go through some of these other people that you're going to have to, that I recommend you have in your back pocket that you proactively work toward getting, all right? And you may have to interview 4, 5, or 6 painters till you find one that's actually loyal. And that's okay. That's why this is a process, all right? And quite frankly, your tribe is going to refer business to you. So it's a beautiful marriage, and any way you slice it. So lenders, okay, I talked about before, I think on week 1 or week 2 in this training, that you need to have 2 conventional mortgage lenders. Then you need to have a banker, okay, because they can keep loans in-house and they don't have to be constrained by the governmental regulations. And then a bad credit specialist who can help you get people who have some credit challenges to be able to be viable buyers, okay? Home inspectors. I would always have 3. And I didn't always mention all 3, but I liked having 3 because as soon as your buyer goes under contract, and then we're talking about a listing queen, but still, you want to be, you want to be sure that your buyer gets their home inspection real quick. And so you want to be able to have 3 amazing, at least 2 amazing home inspectors that you trust. And then of course, landscapers, and we talked about painters and contractors and plumbers and all, but what about stagers? What about designers and decorators? Because guess what? I don't know about you, but in my market, I would have people say, gosh, I'm not really sure where I'd put the couch in this house or the bed or my kitchen table, but I really love this house. Guess what I would do, ladies? I would call my amazing decorator and I'd be like, hey, can you come meet me at XYZ house tomorrow at 2 and tell me, you know, how we might be able to make this work. And on several occasions, I would be able to get that buyer into that house. And one time I was a listing agent as well. And so it was a beautiful thing to get these people in to the house, and I was on both sides. How about home office organizers? All right, home and office organizers. I already talked about closing companies and real estate attorneys. How about accountants? Ladies, here's one thing I want to share with you. You know, one time I had this amazing seller. She was so sweet, and she had an investment property that I actually was surprised that the appraisal came in like 11,000 under what we were under contract for. And I was really shocked. I couldn't believe it. But I spoke with the appraiser, and he wouldn't budge. And he proved his point to me. So when I talked to the seller, I thought strategy before I called her. And I'm like, it's an investment property. What does that mean? When it's an investment property, I understand the law to be that when an investor sells an investment property at a loss, that the difference, you know, that loss can be taken off their taxes in some way, shape, or form. I don't know all the details, but I know that much. So when I called her, I told her about the appraisal. And you know, who would want to make that phone call, right? Nobody would want to make that phone call. So I just said, hey, do you have a few minutes because we need to talk? And are you in town because we can meet? And she said, yes, I'm in town. I said, okay, can we meet at the Panera? Great. Because I really wanted to get with her in person. I didn't think this was something to cover over the phone. So I said, I have good news and bad news. Which do you want first? And she said, give me the bad news, get it out of the way. And I was so thankful that she said bad news. So I'm like, what would I say if she said good news first? But God works things out. So I said, okay, the bad news is that the appraisal came in, you know, under the agreed upon sales price. But the good news is there might be an upside for you. There may not, but there may. And so you and I have to talk about what you're willing to sell this house for, because I need to let the buyers know. Because the buyer's agent had already told me that they were not going to pay a penny over appraised price. So we knew where we stood with that. So I said, I just have a few questions. So this is an investment property, right? Mm-hmm. How long have you had it? 3 years. Okay. And it was a rental, right? Okay. So do you have an accountant? Yes. Okay. So my understanding of law, of accounting is, and I am not at liberty to even act as an accountant. So please understand, I am not acting as an accountant at this point, and I want you to verify everything that I'm suggesting or talking about with you with your own accountant. I'm glad you have one. So there's going to be a loss, and she had to bring money to the table. She had to bring like $4,000 to the table or something. And but she really wanted out. She'd already told me she wanted out. She didn't want to keep being a landlord. And when I shared this information with her, she went back to her accountant, and within like 3 or 4 hours, she goes, I'm signing off on it. Thank you so much, because if you would have just come to me, Jan, telling me that I was going to be bringing money to the table, I would have said no. I would have said no, and then I would have asked you to put it on as a rental for another 12 months and hope and pray that we could sell it next year. And she said, but I'm so glad, because I wouldn't have even thought of that. And so, ladies, that is just one example of being creative, staying with each deal until you've done all that you can to try to get it to closing, and you know, using what you know. And in that case, you know, I called an accountant that I knew, happens to be my niece, and I said, hey, am I right in this? So ladies, we're talking about being a listing queen and having a tribe of people who are going to pick you up and back you up. They're going to be your back. And picture them as your job, right? Because as an agent, that's what we do, right? We are constantly holding our clients up, keeping them, you know, above the fray and telling them not to worry. We've got their back, right? And that's what the tribe is for. We have their back, they have our back, all right? So accountants, movers, of course, movers are always, people always ask, who should I use to move? And then, of course, if you're in an area with well and septic, you need those kind of professionals. Engineers for, foundation issues. You might need an engineer. A radon specialist, mold remediators and testers, chimney sweeps, roofers, window companies. I mean, I had all these people in my tribe, and it took years. I mean, I was an agent for well over a decade. So don't think of this as some insurmountable task that you're never going to have your full tribe complete, because guess what? Throughout the years, I had an amazing contractor, and then they got out of the business, and then you're like, oh, shoot, you know, you need to scramble. So what I'm trying to do is get you ahead of the curve so that you can be organized and not scramble, all right? And then one other word on this is that even if you are an independent agent and you aren't, you don't have a team, nor are you on a team, you still want to start thinking of and presenting yourself as an agent with a team. Because at least, ladies, to be a true listing queen, you need to have an A-plus photographer, right? And your closing company that you trust, that when push comes to shove, they're going to work super hard to get your deal to close, all right? To be complete. And so that's a team. So you have a team. And there's no reason why, if you have a website or if you have a blog or whatever, that you can mention me and my team. Because if you have a photographer that is your photographer, that knows how you like your pictures, knows how to do your drone, knows how you like to receive the pictures, then you have a team. So not only am I talking about this tribe of people in terms of how they're going to help you and you help them, but as you're talking with clients, whether they be buyers or sellers, you have a team. And you are an entrepreneur, and a successful one at that. And you are on a path to outrageous real estate success because you took time to watch this video, and hopefully you can go back on the Girl's Guide to Outrageous Real Estate Success and look at all the other videos if this is the first one you're seeing, where we talked about mindset, know your market, and the winning touch plan. All right. So I have a My Tribe form. If you'd like it, just send me a private message, please. No emails, just send me a private message. It's just easier that way. And I do want to remind you of what's going on next week. Next Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we are continuing with our series of highlighting amazingly successful realtors from across the country. It's our 10th month doing this, ladies, and this is Ann Lusk of Sotheby's International Realty in Lancaster, PA. She currently has 119 listings, she and her team. She has a very successful team, and she's going to be sharing with us how she grew that team in Little Lancaster to a very successful business. And then next Friday at 1 p.m., we have a free webinar with Jane Bernstein, who is the founder of the Organizing Professionals, who was featured on the CBS News, HGTV, and in the New York Times. And she won some big award for being like one of the best certified professional organizers. And her topic is getting organized in times of transition. Now, to watch both of those free webinars, you need to go to livybrynn.com, and that's LIVYBRYNN.com. And once there, in the upper right, you'll see events. Click on that, and then scroll down until you see either the professional organizer, which is Jane Bernstein, or the agent, Ann Lusk, and you can just click on there so that you can be included in those two webinars. All right. So I think that is it. Let me check if there's any questions. Kim says, what if you are a realtor stager? How would you market that, of course, as a brand you? Okay, Kimberly, I likewise had my staging certification. And so I would use that as an advantage in the following way. I would use it as an advantage in the following way, or rather as an advantage in that I had the right eye and I knew what furniture should probably either be in storage or in the basement or away from a main level area, and I knew how to move furniture around. But when I was listing a vacant home and the vacant home would need some love, because as you may or may not know, vacant homes can look super small. Or if you have a nice, beautiful, big listing, a vacant home can look cavernous, and that can actually be a turnoff. So I did have a stager, even though I had my staging certification for vacant homes, because I didn't have an inventory of couches and mirrors and things like that. I did have an inventory of styling items, like to make sure I had great pictures, but I didn't have enough inventory for couches and beds and things like that. So, of course, I used my styling and staging expertise and certification as a brand you. Absolutely. But for purposes of the My Tribe deal, I had a stager who had the inventory. So that's what I meant there. Wilma says, how many of each? I was loyal, so I had one of each that was my primary in terms of my tribe, and then I would have a backup. Sometimes I didn't have a backup. Let's see. Any other questions? I think that's it. Any other questions? Looks like not. All right, ladies, been together for 35 minutes. I wish you an amazingly productive Friday and an awesomely productive as well and hopefully fun weekend. And just message me, Janice Copeland, Janice Copeland, and I'll be happy to get you the My Tribe form. Have a great day. Bye.